Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic.
Should all schools require ballrooms to protect against school shootings? Why or why not? Your kid's school doesn't already have a ballroom. I didn't think Reddit was so poor. We call them gyms, not ballrooms. We should totally convert it into a basketball court, name it after Obama, and settle diplomatic disputes with pickup games. My whole life I've wondered why they taught us square dancing. It all makes sense now. It was to ward off the shootings. It was a racist thing, of course, to push traditional white values. Because Henry Ford hated jazz. I don't think it was jazz that old Henry hated. The obvious answer is to arm every kid. No one is going to use the gun if they know everyone has one. You're joking, but this is what many of them actually suggest. They truly believe the gun issue is because we don't have enough guns. The gun lobby doesn't actually believe this. It's just good for gun sales. Source: the NRA convention does not allow firearms. You can't fight fire with water, you fight fire with fire. Actual quote from one of these people. MASS mutually assured school shooting. My college had a ballroom, and there were no shootings there while I was a student. Just saying. Counterpoint: my college also had a ballroom and there was a shooting when I was a student. Although to be fair, it wasn't in or near the ballroom itself. Your ballroom didn't have enough gilded decoration campus-wide deterrence. This is the second, only a problem in America, question I've seen in the last hour. The other being, what if we just don't pay our medical debt? Damn it, America, get yourself together. Hey, 95% of the Askreddit questions are America-centric, and as someone from the UK, I couldn't be happier that I don't live there. I'm in Canada and uncomfortably close. I mean, we could ask our political leaders for answers, but they just post videos of shitting on citizens from a jet. That's only one party. Just saying. Now isn't the time to talk about gun violence. GOP talking point. Now is not the time to talk about ballrooms. Nothing stops a shooter like a waltz. My school couldn't even afford working locks on the bathroom stalls, but sure, let's install chandeliers. How can they aim properly when everyone is doing the cha-cha slide? How does a ballroom prevent school shootings? It's reference to Donald Trump and the Republicans' use of the recent assassination attempt as justification to spend $400 million of taxpayer money on a new White House ballroom. $400 million. You mean $400 million more dollars? When Trump publicly announced the project on July 31, 2025, he said the ballroom would be funded entirely by private donations, including his own. https://www.openSecrets.org/news/2026/01/Trump-ballroom-donors-poised-to-benefit-from-id-shape/. You can dance your problems away, or if the room is actually filled with balls, it will slow down the velocity of the bullet. If you want a real answer, the White House doesn't have a large event space. Whenever the US hosts large events, they need to be hosted off-site, or in tents on the White House lawn. So the correspondence dinner is held in a hotel. Someone checked into the hotel as a guest, then bum-rushed security and tried to assassinate Trump. He didn't get remotely close, but it did demonstrate public spaces like a hotel are harder to secure than the White House itself. So Trump has been using it to justify the ballroom being built to hold large events on the White House grounds. No one is saying ballrooms prevent school shootings. They're saying having an event space on White House grounds will be more secure than hosting events in public spaces. Because it needs to be said, I'm 100% against this administration, and it's abhorrent that they just tore down the East Wing with no oversight or approval. But that's the answer to your question. It's not hosted off-site because of space limitations. It's off-site because it's a private organization and not the White House organizing it. We absolutely know how to secure public spaces, and this was a good example of how. The president was never in any real danger as the shooter was stopped at the outer security perimeter. Plus, January 6 already shows how vulnerable federal buildings can be to a mob after all, and it's not like the White House is that much better secured than the Capitol building. The ballroom is a vanity project and little more. The real answer makes me believe even more that it was a staged attempt. IDK, ask Trump. Only in 2026 could we turn a security failure at a dinner into a multi-million-dollar real estate project. We can't protect the hotel, so we're building a fortress with a dance floor, is peak government logic. The obnoxious thing about is he's skirting the whole appropriation process by claiming it isn't just a ballroom, it's a military installation. I'm not nearly educated enough to pass the logic in that, but the math isn't mathing. They can obviously protect Four Seasons landscaping, so just hold all events there instead. Some balls are held for charity, and some for fancy dress. But when they're held for pleasure, they're the balls that I like best. My balls are always bouncing, to the left and to the right. It's my belief that my big balls should be held every night. How about reducing the likeliness of a school shooting for a change? But how does that personally benefit a politician? Come on now, don't be silly. Nah, ballroom. The only thing that can stop a bad ballroom with a gun is a good ballroom with a gun. I work in a school in Texas. We have an ex-military armed security officer on campus at all times. It's sad that it has to be that way, but he makes the kids feel safe, and frankly it makes me feel safe too. If something were to happen, I know he's already there, armed, and trained. You certain he never received training in Uvalde? I've always found this take fascinating because it's the opposite for me. It would put me more on edge knowing with 100% certainty that there are multiple loaded firearms at school. I think that's due to the perspective of how each of us views armed individuals though. Some people see protector, and I can't help but see aggressor, or at the very least, that person is looking for a fight, even if it is to protect someone. When I see someone with a firearm in public, I can't help but envision them thinking right before they leave the house, okay, I have my keys to drive, my wallet for purchases, my phone for communication purposes, and my firearm to kill someone if I have to, as they leave the house every day. That's just not the mindset of someone I want to be around. It would be the same if they brought any other weapon with them. If I saw someone with a firearm when I was walking downtown, I'd do everything I could to immediately leave the area, and I'd definitely be less willing to visit the area afterwards. Active police patrols also wouldn't make me feel any better because my fundamental assumption would be the police need to patrol this area because they've designated it as dangerous. If it were more common, or more well-known, for police to carry non-lethal tools, it would be different, but I just have to assume every police officer is carrying a loaded weapon. A community patrol that's known to only have cuffs and a baton, for instance, would make me think about it much differently. There's so much psychology that goes into stuff like this. You don't need him. The chances of your school being shot up are lower than the chances of being killed by lightning. It's security theater. It's like the metal detectors that a local school system put in. They used them for a week before they realized spending 2 hours at the beginning of the day screening kids was stupid. The detectors haven't been used since week 2 of the school year. I worked for a private company that had former police officers as armed security. I also had one of these guys point a gun at me over a parking dispute where I was totally in the right. Having armed security didn't make me feel safer. Quite the opposite. It's just more guns in the building. Wasn't there an armed guard at every school massacre? Were the kids armed? Were the teachers? You need a gun in every hand. I think they should put the gun into the baby's hands when they are still in the womb. Only then will we be safe. I'm still trying to figure out the tactical advantage of a ballroom in a crisis. Is the plan to distract the intruder with a perfectly executed Viennese waltz? Or are we hoping the sheer elegance of the architecture creates a field of politeness that prevents conflict? Trump is building a bunker underneath the ballroom apparently, so he tried to use presidential safety to push his plan for building the ballroom without going through the proper channels through the courts. The judge said no, that safety wasn't a reason to justify his ballroom, so couldn't keep building it, but could continue the bunker underneath and cover it with cement for now. But now that this shooting happened at the correspondents' dinner, Trump is saying, see, I told you we needed the ballroom for security reasons. It's all too convenient. I think it's obvious. Grapes and canapes and glasses of sherry. Wait staff equipped with a hidden blade to neutralize. A trapdoor with a rancor underneath for larger foes. And yes, the Vienna waltz plays in the background, a key ingredient. Keep the party going. In my opinion, the idea is it's on White House grounds and attached to the building. It's 100% secure 100% of the time. Please keep politics out of subs that aren't specifically for politics. It's hard enough finding subs that aren't polarized by politics. If there's no rule against it, go somewhere else. I'm very surprised more people aren't understanding this as satire. Shootings at schools tend to not be staged. Are you saying Alex Jones lied to me? ? Is there something that he didn't lie about? School shootings don't happen in normal countries. What countries are you talking about? Ballrooms are to train the archers without stepping outside the barricades. We just need arrow slits in all schools and more money for the archery team. Then a moat, drawbridge, and every school needs an Epstein Memorial Ballroom. Guys, you really need to stop selling weapons to every fucking one. Yes, we do. FCK my American life. Ugh. Nobody gives a fuck about kids unless pretending to give a fuck about kids is a politically convenient thing to do. And even then, it is not even remotely sincere. The same people who hate abortion because all life is sacred do everything they can to deny them healthcare after they are born. When a school full of 5-year-olds gets shot up and nothing happens. And then the zeitgeist actually contains a significant contingent of voices that question whether it was real, we're past the tipping point. Past the point that anything will ever change with gun control without a radical shift in public sentiment. If a pile of dead 5-year-olds can't radically change public sentiment, what will? We need a shooter room near every school in the only developed country with this problem. When the shooter enters the shooter room, the police will be there waiting for the arrest. I would much rather my tax dollars go to that. USA problem face with rolling eyes. Given how much we pay in school taxes, there is no reason why we cannot have a small army to protect schools. Sheesh, yeah. With how much they tax the shit out of us, I'm wondering why they can order 400 brand new Chromebooks but can't afford to give them free lunches or pay teachers more than the bare minimum. Won't, not can't.